What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you are all having an amazing weekend so far. Thank you so much for coming back and joining me today. Look who has made it back into the news this week. None other than the Kenosha kid himself, Kyle Rittenhouse. Now, there's two reasons why Kyle was in the news this week. Neither one of them are great. One's definitely worse than the other. So stick with me here. I'm going to give you both reasons why Kyle Rittenhouse was back in the news very recently. Stick with me on that. Before I jump into it, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Join me on this journey. We got a great community here, starting to grow, and we are looking to have some fun, okay? So hit the subscribe button. Leave me a thumbs up if you like my videos. My favorite thing about doing these videos is the comments that you guys leave. On the Kyle Rittenhouse videos I've done in the past, I've got some pretty nasty comments of people that think he's just a straight up white supremacist racist murderer, which it's just not the case. It's just not facts in the case. I'm sorry. If that's how you feel, you're entitled to your opinion. That's just not how it is. The people that he shot, I don't know what to say here on I can say here on YouTube anymore. It's getting so crazy. I'm trying to walk on eggshells so I continue to bring you guys, content and videos and news and have fun, and we can, but it's getting crazy. So I'm going to try to walk on eggshells so I can at least still, engage with you guys. So the three people that he shot, all were white. So there was no racial slurs thrown around. There was no indication of this had to do with anything racial at all. So the people that are saying he's a white supremacist and a racist, it just holds no water. Sorry. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. All right. That out of the way. First reason that Kyle made the news this week, and this isn't looking good on his part, but it's not as bad as it seems. Kyle Rittenhouse seems to be missing. Is he on the run? What happened to him? Does anybody know? Yeah, we know. Well, not exactly where he is, but it was reported in the news. And listen, I read a bunch of news reports on this. The reporting on this whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing is an absolute joke. And I had to go through some different articles. Oh, sorry. I had to go through some different articles because most of the ones I read were just full of absolute lies and nonsense. So I wanted to grab an article that had at least mostly the truth in it. So I grabbed an article from Newsweek. So what happened was detectives weren't able to find him. Something happened. I'm going to link a video to the end of this video where I talk about he was released on $2 million bail. He had, there was all kinds of fundraisers and donations for him. The actor Ricky Schroeder donated a big chunk of money to him. So he was released on $2 million bail, all raised in donations. It's a lot of money. So he was released on $2 million bail. Like I said, I'll link that to the end if you want to check that out. So he was released. He got his bail released from jail. That's how it works. Now, when he was released, apparently he was supposed to report if there was any change of address. Well, something happened where detectives went to his house, his listed address with the court. He wasn't there. Someone answered the door and said, yeah, he moved out. He's not here anymore. So boom, all of a sudden, what? Kyle's missing. What's going on? We got to find him. No. So let's get into this Newsweek article. This Newsweek article. This seems to keep it a little more. Listen, I read an article that said Kyle Rittenhouse jumped bail and he was on the run, and it was crazy. It said that it said something about he was being harbored by white supremacist groups and militias, and that he was arrested for murder in Kenosha because he shot 3 people while he was indiscriminately firing into crowds of people. It was crazy. The stuff it was saying was so nonsensical. There was no facts to it. What else did it say? It said he was just indiscriminately shooting at people. In the article, they called him a white supremacist. It blew my mind. I was like, what? And that's the thing in the mainstream media and news articles and stuff like that. They tell regular people, not like us, like not like me and not like all you guys watching that, do our own, we think for ourselves. We do our own research. We, look at the facts of the case. We look at it logically with common sense. We say, well, there's no proof that he's a white supremacist. And everybody on the left calls everybody on the right a white supremacist. So that's probably false. There's no proof that he's in any kind of militia or anything like that. Nobody that he engaged in was any people of color. So it's all nonsense. And you can watch millions of videos online. I mean, the New York Times broke the timeline down for you exactly how it happened, frame by frame, picture by picture. I think it was the New York Times or the New York Post, one of them. And it clearly proved he didn't indiscriminately fire at anybody. Like, that was the bizarre thing. Even like gun experts said this kid was just like surgical precision almost the way he handled that AR and made sure he didn't fire indiscriminately to hit innocent people. Like everybody that happened to get shot that day, it was a tragedy all around. Listen, that was a horrible nightmare for everyone involved. It was a complete tragedy, absolute 100% tragedy. Nobody should have been out there. Kyle shouldn't have been out there. The rioters shouldn't have been out there. And that's what they were. They were rioters burning down Kenosha. They weren't protesters. They were rioters. They were all out there after curfew. None of them should have been there. None of them should have been there. Period. So, but anyway, everybody that, happened to get shot that day was engaging. The first guy who had him backed into a corner was reaching for the barrel of his AR. That was the guy that was right there, saw it happen. One of the reporters, Richie McGinnis. He's described it on Tim Pool's podcast before he saw the whole thing. He said he was reaching for his AR. Kyle had no option. The second guy, you can see in the videos, they run up. One of the guys jumps up and kicks him in the head. The other guy runs up and hits him with a skateboard. The third guy is coming up. Kyle raises the AR. The guy puts his hand up and backs up. He should have just kept backing up. That would have been the end of it. Kyle lifted the AR. Kid backed up, put his hands up. Kyle lowered it. The kid should have just kept backing up. Instead, he grabs himself is carrying. He grabs his, pulls it out, steps towards Kyle, and boom, vaporized the guy's bicep. So there wasn't indiscriminate shooting. Listen, it's all nonsense. So let's get back into it. That's just a quick rundown real quick, vague rundown of what happened. Anyway, I'm not going to get too much into my opinion on the case. I think you guys have a pretty good idea of what it is. But like I said, this whole YouTube purge and censorship is really tough. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I try to bring you guys, these updates and news stories and things with common sense and logic. But, I mean, it seems like people that come at you with those kind of views are getting purged. I mean, it seems like if you're not with the narrative, like the Young Turks, go listen to the Young Turks. They'll tell you this guy was, a devil monster, militia, whatever, and they're fine. And it's everything they say about this whole thing is completely insane. Anyway, I just really digressed on that. Let's get into the news article. All right, so it says there is confusion. All right, so like I said, this is from Newsweek. There's confusion over the whereabouts of Kenosha murder suspect Kyle Rittenhouse as prosecutors seeking a new arrest warrant over claims that he has violated his bail conditions. Prosecutors asked the judge on Wednesday for a new warrant for the 18-year-old who is accused of killing 2 people and injuring another one during the Black Lives Matter protest. It was a riot. There was no protesting. It was a riot right from the jump. You can go find videos as soon as everything happened. It was a riot right from the jump, so that's false. In Wisconsin on August 25th last year, the motion also seeks to increase his bail by $200,000. The warrant does not imply Rittenhouse is attempting to flee ahead of his next court appearance in March, but he failed to inform the court of his change of address within 48 hours of moving, in violation of his $2 million bond. Okay. So that's basically what's going on. So he moved. He didn't inform anybody. Now, that is in violation of his bond. He's supposed to inform them when he moves. They're supposed to know his whereabouts at all times. And a couple reasons is he doesn't have any skin in the game. He didn't this isn't his money out of his pocket. His mother didn't put up a house or anything. This was all raised funds. So the prosecutor is saying, listen, he's got no skin in the game. If he takes off, that's not him losing the $2 million. That's just a bunch of donations from people. He could take off and try to hide. I think we all know that's not the case. I mean, there's a solid chance he's going to beat this in court, which let's not talk about that right now. But so they know that he's not on the run. And what happened was he moved to a safe house. As you can imagine, the second he got out of jail and went home, him and his family and his mom, they were bombarded with threats. Bombarded with threats. I mean, they were getting threatened. He was getting threats of, while he was in jail. So they were getting threats. So they had to, they obviously had to move. You can't get out of jail with that big national media story. You can't get out of jail, go home, and just think everything's going to be okay. So he had to move. Now, why didn't he tell the courts he moved? That's a good question. But he was instructed by a senior law enforcement official in Kenosha not to tell the courts where he moved to his safe house. He moved to a safe house, and the senior law enforcement official in Kenosha said, don't tell the courts where you're moving. Don't tell anyone where you're going. It says, however, attorneys for the 18-year-old claim they were advised by senior law enforcement officers not to share details of Rittenhouse's location with the court. So there you have it. Senior law enforcement officers in Kenosha told attorneys not to for his own safety. If senior law enforcement officials are telling him this, why would he say, well, I'm going to do it? Like, I get it. That's a tough situation to be put in. And is that his fault that he was instructed not to? And also, the courts said that they would not seal his location. From what I heard, fact check me on this because I'm not 100%, but from what I read in some of these stories and from what I looked up and did some research on this, they asked the court, his attorneys asked the court, if we give you his location, will you keep it sealed? And they said no. Now, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I will, come on, listen, I get no problem admitting when I'm wrong. Trust me, I've been wrong a lot in my life. So it says a court mailed Rittenhouse a notice at his Antioch address that was returned. Oh, okay, yeah, that's why the detectives went there. Okay, that's right, sorry, brain cramp. A court mailed Rittenhouse a notice at his Antioch address that was returned as unclaimed on January 28th. When Kenosha police detectives traveled to Antioch on Tuesday, they spoke to a man at Rittenhouse's previous home who told them he had been living there on a rental lease since mid-December. So, the guy basically said, no, they're gone, I'm here. He moved out. So, Mark Richards, an attorney for Rittenhouse, has opposed the court filings in the motion to increase the bond amount. Continues to say, according to a copy of Richards' objection provided to Newsweek, an attorney working with him, Corey Cherafisi, I probably mangled that name, Corey Cherafisi, asked Kenosha County Assistant District Attorney Thomas Binger on November 30th to request that the safe house where Rittenhouse would be staying after his release on bail would be filed under seal. Okay, so basically what happened was, like I said, when Kyle was released on the $2 million bond, his attorney was filling out some paperwork, and the Kenosha police captain came to assist him in filing the paperwork. When Kyle's attorney said, should I put his regular address or because apparently they already had a safe house set up. Should I give him the address of the safe house? And the police captain of Kenosha, who apparently the courts are trying to get a statement from now to see if it's true, said absolutely do not give Kyle's safe house address on this paperwork. Now, it also seems like Kyle's attorney had been in touch with this Corey Cherafisi a few months ago, letting them know that Kyle wasn't going to be at the address, his listed address, because of the threats. And for some reason now it's just becoming a big deal. And like I said, if they weren't going to keep it under seal, they weren't, they don't want to give up Kyle's safe house address. That just makes sense. Obviously, the kids, can you imagine how many death threats that guy's getting? Oof. Anyway, so basically right now, Kyle is kind of in a jam because they want to arrest him and throw him back in jail and bump up his $2 million bond by another $200,000. Now, I think if they arrest him and put him in jail again, he'll be able to come up with that. Because he is, and I'm going to jump into the second reason why Kyle's been in the news lately too, but I just wanted to bring this up in case you guys weren't aware of it. Now, Kyle made the news last month too, and this is pretty crazy. And a lot of people freaked out about this. Me, I don't really like. So, all right, let me tell you what. So Kyle was seen out drinking at a local bar with some Proud Boys with a shirt that said "Free as FU." I'm not going to swear on here right now. Thanks, YouTube. So there's his shirt, "Free as," and they got it blocked out. He's got the OK symbol going on, which somehow, some way, that's been turned into some kind of racist thing. I don't understand that. I have no idea where that came from, and to me, that doesn't mean anything to me. That means the OK symbol. I don't care what these other guys think. So he's out at a local bar with Proud Boys, I guess. I don't know if they had any proof that these guys were members of the Proud Boys. But anyway, a lot of people were up in arms about this. And apparently in Kenosha, Wisconsin, or wherever he's at, Antioch, Illinois. I'm not sure where this was taken. Apparently where this was taken, you only have to be 18 to go out and drink in the bars. You have some law there, which is like that some places in the United States. Where I live, you got to be 21. But so there he is out drinking it up with some Proud Boys, giving the OK symbol, with a shirt on that says "Free as FU." And listen, whatever. Was that a smart idea? I don't know. Like this, if there's a chance this kid's gonna be put in prison for the rest of his life, yeah, like go out, have a good time, like live it up. He wasn't breaking any laws, just didn't go against his bail, and even the court said it. Listen, his bail requirements don't say that he can't go out to bars, he can't drink, he can't be around these certain people, and it's not on any of his bail requirements. So he's okay. He didn't break the law. People were furious. Of course, people on the left and the BLMs and all the liberals and all the people got up in their feelings, got hurt, got their feelings hurt about it. But whatever, who cares? The kid's facing the rest of his life in prison. He wants to go and have a few drinks with some guys that probably threw some money at him to get him out of jail. Cool, whatever. Whatever. I probably would have done the same thing if I was looking at like a charge that was going to stick me in prison for life. Now, whatever. That's as far as I'm going to go with that. So, anyway, I just wanted to bring that up real quick. Now, the second thing, Kyle, and this is going to be quick. I'm going to end this video soon. I've dragged it on long enough. Second thing Kyle was in the news for just recently, too, a couple days ago. Apparently, Kyle fired Kyle Rittenhouse has fired controversial civil lawyer John Pierce. So he fired John Pierce, who's put in a ton of work for him so far. Seemed like he was a good lawyer, like was really putting in the footwork to do everything he could to get Kyle off of the charges. However, this guy had a bunch of financial problems. He had a bunch of debt. He had a bunch of financial issues. So they actually took him off part of Kyle's case a few months ago. He was still represent Kyle, but they took him off a certain part of the case where, because obviously with all these donations pouring in, I mean, they raised $2 million like that to get Kyle out of jail as soon as he was, given the $2 million bond. So Kyle's got enough money where he can take some of these donations and tuck it away for when he does. I mean, you got to think about it. This kid's probably not going to be able to get a job for, he could write a book or something, but who's going to hire this guy? If they want their business burned down, they will. But who's going to hire Kyle? Like, he's kind of screwed right now if he gets off these charges for quite a while. So he's got a bunch of money, apparently, and this guy's got some controversial dealings with money and a bunch of debt. And so I guess some people were wanted to set up some kind of fund for all the money to make sure it goes to Kyle that, once the lawyers are paid off. And this guy, it was a conflict of interest of sorts with the money that was being raised. And I didn't get too much into this story, but I know this guy has some debt and some bad business dealings and things when it comes to money. This guy's not the kind of guy you want around, apparently. So if you want to look into that further, go ahead. I didn't dive too much into it. It's just they fired this guy strictly because it had to do with the money, and this guy's got a bad track record with money and debt and funds raising and things like that. So he's got a new lawyer on it. I mean, they're hammering it out. So we'll see what happens. I think if the police chief of Kenosha comes forward and says, listen, I told them specifically not to put Kyle's safe house address on there because of the threats they were getting. That's on me. Let's just give you the safe house address, keep it under wraps, or get some squad cars there to make sure it's or something. He may get off. They may arrest him, put him back in jail. They know he's not trying to run. That's the thing. They said themselves, we don't think it's because he's trying to escape. He's just trying to keep himself safe. He's still in the area. He was in those pictures with those guys drinking. So we'll see what happens. If he goes back to jail, I'm pretty sure they're going to have the 200 grand to spring him again till the trial starts. And then we'll see what happens with the trial. It's going to get crazy. I hope they don't turn this into a political witch hunt. It's just a bad situation all around. I'm not going to get, like I said, I'm not going to get too much into my opinion and break it down or anything because unfortunately, I'm being censored. I got to watch what I say. If I want to continue to try to grow this channel, bring you guys some good content. I got some great ideas that I've been, thinking about for stuff down the road that's, going to involve me getting out and doing some other things to bring you guys some like really good, solid content that I think is going to make a big difference out there for people and, open up people's eyes to some different things. But if YouTube shuts me down before I even grow it all, or, I mean, it's just not worth it. So, I would bite my tongue here and there. I got no problem with that. I think you guys that have subscribed and been watching my channel for a few months know my views anyway. But I'm going to link a Kyle Rittenhouse video I did about the $2 million bail on the end of this one. There you guys have it. That's what Kyle's in the news for this week. We'll see if anything happens next week. If so, I'll bring it to you guys. Like I said, I try to find some new... I gather the truth, the facts, what happened through... Not the truth. I gather the facts from reading a bunch of different articles, put them all together, see what's real and not real. I take out the identity politics and the name calling and all that nonsense that the people on the left do. And all, that's all just garbage. And I, try to bring it to you guys, with a logical, common sense perspective. So I'm going to keep doing that, guys. So I really appreciate you guys. Like I said, join me on this journey. Let's grow this channel. Hit that subscribe button. I love the community. I'm having a blast here. You guys are all amazing. If you like the video, leave me a thumbs up. I'm sure this video is going to get a lot of thumbs down because there's going to be a lot of people that think Kyle Rittenhouse is the big bad racist, big bad wolf, white supremacist guy that was out there just hunting people that night. Which just, I'm sorry, guys. It's just not, it's not reality. I'm sorry. It's just not. But that's okay. We can agree to disagree. Like I said, so leave me a thumbs up if you like the video. If you leave me a thumbs down, I ain't mad at you. We can agree to disagree. And let me know what you guys think in the comments of if Kyle should be in his safe house without giving the courts the address. If you think he should have given the courts the address, even if they said they weren't going to seal it. Like, that gets kind of scary for him and his mom, I guess. Anyway, stay safe out there, guys. The world's gone crazy. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We're going to make it through this till next time. Peace.